birthdays are one of the most important days of the year, correct? And my daughter had just turned 13 years old, and she's good friends with Lee and James's daughter. And you know what? A lot of us, when we have birthdays, we like to have a cake. Who likes cake, right? And then on the cake, we tend to put candles for every year when we're born. And we then, before we blow up the candles, we make a what?
A wish.
A wish. Well, there's a family, a friend of mine, that they have a tradition that on their birthday, they don't just get one wish, you get as many wishes as you have birthdays. So when my daughter turned 13, I told her she could have 13 wishes, right? If you're 25, you get 25 wishes, right? If you're 30 like James's age,
Exactly.
then you get 30 wishes, right?
Exactly.
Well, the dad in this family turned 43 recently, and on his list, like he had to write down all the wishes to remember them all. And he had awesome things like, you know, he wanted to run a marathon, he wanted to take his wife to see the Eiffel Tower for a second honeymoon. His daughter was getting married, so he definitely wanted to be able to walk her down the aisle. So he's got kind of like bucket list things. It was a pretty awesome year. But when he turned 44, the next birthday, when he pulled out his list, there was actually only one thing on that list. And he wrote down, I just want to have my health back. Because it turned out that earlier that year, he actually was diagnosed with cancer. And the doctors told him he only just had a few months potentially to live. So it tells us that if you have your health, you can see you can have as many wishes as you want. But when you lose your health, there's only one thing that we want. So my goal today is to inspire you and educate you so that you can have great health and have as many wishes as you want for the rest of your life. Right? Who would like that? Okay? Awesome. So the next few minutes that I have with you today, and I appreciate the great story James shared, his own personal story, but you know, today I want to make sure that we give you the most powerful, the most effective, and the most natural information so that you can be the person that takes charge of your health. That you won't necessarily have to be a victim of cancer or heart disease or these diseases that plague many of us and our families and our friends. All right, who would like to do that? All right, and I want to thank you for taking time, obviously, to be here today, because you know there's a lot of people that I've met that make excuses for their health, and you're not obviously that type of person. You've taken time off your lunch to be here today. All right, a free lunch didn't hurt to get you here, but you know what? We want to make sure that we acknowledge that effort you're making too, because there's so many people I meet that don't make that effort. So with the short time we have, I want to make sure that you get the most out of the investment of your time today. And I found over the years that people that get the best results with us, that actually just make changes in their life, are the ones that are the most engaged. And so, you know, feel free to take any notes down. If you have any questions at all, write them down. I'll stick around and answer anything at the end as well, if there's any personal questions you have about your health. But you know what, the key word today is participation. So say with me, participation. Participation, okay, because that leads to transformation in your life. All right? So if you think about it now, we'll talk about a few things, but the first thing I want to address is, what is your greatest asset? Now, James was just in New York, right? You guys have an office on 5th Avenue, and you're telling me all about the whole Trump thing going on, and it was pretty crazy there, he was saying. And so Donald Trump has a lot of assets, he seemed to tell us, right? Hotels and a lot of amazing things. And you know what? But you've probably heard of Steve Jobs as well, right? The founder of Apple. Well, I learned recently that Steve Jobs actually was worth $31 billion near the end of his life. $31 billion. That'd be pretty good for your company to do that, right? And that was him personally. Well, at the end of the day here, how many would you trade spots for Steve Jobs' $31 billion right now?
Just the money?
Well, no. It's just trade spots with him.